A big thank you to Vanidia Fortes, Handsome Banna, G83, and Bella for their support on Patreon. There have been lots of anime in the past that have made me cry. Anohana, Angel Beats, My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, Fullmetal Alchemist, and Grave of the Fireflies, just to name a few. There have even been some that have truly touched my heart and changed my life, such as A Silent Voice, When Marnie Was There, and Your Lie in April being the most important examples. Those three anime in particular cut deep, as when I watched them for the first time, my life was not going well at all. When I needed them most, they taught me a lot of lessons, and gave me the strength I needed to pull myself out of the hell I was facing. Despite what those anime mean to me, this video isn't about any of them. No, today I'm here to talk about a very different anime. I'm going to talk about arguably the most devastating and beautiful anime ever made, Clannad and Clannad After Story. To be more specific, I'm going to discuss what I think the message of the series is and why it means so much to me. I'm grateful to be joined today by one of my favorite creators on YouTube, Nyaa, who not only makes some of the best anime videos on the platform, but who inspired me to start my channel as a whole. I will be talking about my thoughts on Clannad and what I think its message is, and Kevin will talk about Clannad After Story. So without further ado, let's get into this. Hey, actually, super quick reminder that if you like the video, to please leave a like and subscribe. It's extremely helpful, and you can always unsubscribe later should you like. Thanks. I've discussed anime and what I perceive their messages to be before. A Silent Voice is about learning to love yourself. When Marnie Was There, to remind you that you're loved unconditionally. Your Lie in April is about coping and growing from loss. So what do I think Clannad is about? Personally, I think that the main takeaway from Clannad is the importance of family, and how if you look for it, you can find it anywhere. That sounds kind of broad, so allow me to elaborate. Throughout Clannad, we see our core cast of characters struggle with many things. Tomoya struggles with his terrible relationship with his father and its consequences. Nagisa struggles with her sickness and the guilt that comes with it when she feels she's burdening her parents. This is actually only accentuated later when she finds out her father was a stage performer. Kotomi struggles with her isolation following the loss of her parents and the guilt she felt having destroyed all of their work in a fire. Fuko struggles with, well, a lot. Mostly with the fact that she's in Ikiryo, and the difficulty it causes while trying to help her sister's wedding run smoothly. As the anime progresses, these problems are slowly chipped away at. But no one character is able to help themselves alone. It's Tomoya that pushes Nagisa throughout the series to pursue what she wants. The two of them work desperately trying to keep the drama club active so that Nagisa can fulfill her dream of acting on stage. In pursuit of this, the two of them slowly end up helping Fuko and Kotomi come to terms with their own situations. Tomoya ends up getting along very well with Nagisa's family, so well in fact that he takes the initiative to leave behind his father, who at this point was nothing more than a burden on Tomoya's life. I bring this up because I know that I said I feel the message of Clannad is family, but let me state that just because someone is your blood doesn't make them your family. Tomoya's dad lost that privilege years ago. To me, family isn't just something that you are through being a parent or a sibling or anything else. Family is something you earn with your actions. Nagisa's family shows compassion and care to Tomoya more than his own father ever did. Even ignoring the actual violence Tomoya had to face, it's already a massive improvement. What Tomoya does is the healthiest thing he could've, regardless of how hard it would be, despite how his father acts. Tomoya finds family elsewhere. He creates his own. And I don't mean with Nagisa later on. I mean in high school. Through his and Nagisa's efforts, a new family is made among the friends they help and the club they form. Even after all of this, however, after Tomoya has achieved his goal of getting Nagisa to do her play, and the others have all come to terms with their own goals, an issue remains. Nagisa herself doesn't feel she deserves the chance she's gotten. She thinks her dream is not worth achieving, considering it was only possible due to the sacrifice of her parents' dreams. As I mentioned earlier, before Nagisa can put on her play, she discovers her father's past life, before she was born. She already felt she burdened her parents with her sickness, but this is the final straw. Nagisa can't help but feel that her father's dream of being an actor was completely destroyed by her being born. The subsequent scene of Nagisa on stage is likely my favorite in the series. At that moment, when we see Nagisa freeze, Tomoya waits, holding out hope she can do it. And when things are looking like there's no hope, who rounds the corner but Akio? When his daughter is in need of his help the most, he's there. His speech about how she doesn't need to feel guilty for living her dreams because her dreams are the dreams of him and her mother, I don't even know how to fully explain what it means to me. The struggles and joys that come with parenthood aren't too common in a lot of anime I've personally seen, so maybe that heightens this scene's emotional weight for me, though I can't say for sure. He tells her that every day they've been working, it's to make her dreams come true, and that it's her duty to see them through after the struggle that they put in. This sparks Tomoya to run down and tell her the same thing is true for her other family, that of course being her new group of friends, all of whom are rooting for her. Family is all about putting those you love before you. It is obvious in this scene how much Akio, Sane, and of course Tomoya love and care about Nagisa. Their dreams couldn't be fulfilled, and in this moment there's nothing more important to them than Nagisa fulfilling her own dream. Even if the others don't share quite the love for Nagisa, Akio, Sane, and Tomoya do, that's not to say they don't deeply care for her. She and Tomoya were there for them when they needed it, at one point or another. Though not being blood, they were treated like family, and the favor is returned to Nagisa through all their efforts leading up to this scene. Family is what saves Tomoya, Kotomi, Fuko, and Nagisa, both blood relatives and the friends who become their family. It was Tomoya and Nagisa who made Fuko's sister's wedding what it was. It was Tomoya and the rest who showed Kotomi how much he cared about her by fixing up her garden. And it was all the rest who gave Tomoya the friendship and love that wasn't present at home. And through all of that, they managed to give Nagisa the support she needed to fulfill her dream. Both her families came together to see it through, and I think that's just a beautiful message. There have been numerous friends, and the family of friends in my life who have come to me when I needed it most. Much like Tomoya, I have found family elsewhere who can help me through my problems. Unlike Tomoya, however, I am grateful to say I'm blessed with a wonderful family, much like Nagisa. Finding another family wasn't something that was necessary for me, but it was very helpful nonetheless. Friends like that don't come around too often, so I suggest if you have a friend like that, cherish them. They're your family, if you let them. Don't forget that.
Not many stories have such a powerful and emotional impact after you finish them, but after experiencing the magical show that was Clannad After Story, it made me realize just how special this series truly was. While the first season was a romantic comedy with dramatic elements to it, Clannad After Story is first and foremost a story about the importance of family and the trials and tribulations that come with it. After Story is one-of-a-kind anime where the initial romance between the two main characters goes past high school and well into adulthood. The series tackles so many different themes such as the value of family, dealing with loss, the struggles of parenthood, and so many others that I don't have time to go through. Today, however, I just want to cover one specific theme that I feel goes largely unnoticed when discussing the overall series: the inevitability of change. While a lot of people will point to the show's more obvious themes such as love, familial bonds, and dealing with tragedy, change is something I feel is equally important, though a lot more understated. Throughout the series, there's a quote that Nagisa says that I feel encapsulates this theme perfectly. Fun things, happy things, they can't possibly stay unchanged. Even so, can you still continue loving this place? The first time she says this, it's in context to the school she, Tomoya, and all the other characters grew up in, changing because the old club room is getting demolished in order for a new building to be made. But Nagisa's words hold so much more meaning beyond that. Going through everyday life, one of the most comforting things a person can get accustomed to is having a consistent sense of security and stability, whether it's in your studies, your job, or even the people you meet in life. Too many, change is a scary aspect of life because you aren't certain what the future will hold. It could be better than your life now, or it could be worse. You'd never know until you try. The first big change that happens in someone's life is when they graduate high school. You either start your first year as an adult in the workforce, or you slightly prolong your studies with university. But even then, that's a whole different experience than high school. Whatever it is, going through a big change in your life is necessary in order for you to grow as a person. Your experiences may range from great to terrible, but in the long run, it'll be worth it. When Nagisa has to repeat the last year of high school again due to being sick, Tomoya feels immense guilt because she was the one person who he wanted to start the next stage of his life with. He even contemplates repeating the last year with her despite already graduating. But for Nagisa, she believes that if you can move on in life, then you should. Tomoya staying in one place and repeating the same mundane reality would almost be an insult to Nagisa herself because she would be burdened by the responsibility of essentially wasting 1 year of Tomoya's life just so he could keep her company. Nagisa may be the most physically weak character because of her illness, but she's also the strongest mentally. She's Tomoya's guiding light, while he supports her in any other way he can. And after the personal tragedy that happens, we can see how Tomoya refuses to move on in life from the past, despite Nagisa's words. He's stuck in a depressive, self-deprecating cycle that's so hard to get out of. And it was only through the help of the other characters was he finally able to move on. Change is inevitable, it's a natural part of life, and if you refuse to move on from the past, you'll be stuck in a cycle of mundanity, never truly living. It's one of Afterstory's core messages that anyone should apply to their own life. Places, people, and lifestyles all eventually change, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. All you can do is just keep learning and keep growing. Thanks for watching.